Welcome everybody to our second week of distance learning. This is our second assignment, and the assignment this week is 4.19 all through the night. So this is going to work best if you get your book and follow along with me as I show you an example on the screen. 4.19, here we're looking at a saxophone part. Your part is probably going to look a little different. The first thing I want you to notice, just like last week, this song has a first ending and a second ending system. So you see the repeat here. We play up until that repeat, we go back to the beginning, but the second time we don't take the first ending, we take the second ending, and you play from there to the end. Also, let's look at the key signature, very important. The key signature here for saxophones is 2 sharps. Now your part, if you're a flute player or a bell player or a trombone player, you're going to have a flat. If you're a trumpet player or a clarinet player, you're going to have 1 sharp. It's different for each instrument, but the key that we're in is concert F. So when you warm up this week, before you start playing all through the night, I want you to warm up on page 51 on the F concert scale. One other thing about this song, you know I don't like kids writing the letter names in the book, but when we see this box, we get to write the name of the note. For saxophones, that's a C sharp. So this week I'm going to play this song for you because we're going to be learning a new concept after this. Listen to the song. Here's my tempo. 1 and 2, and here I go. A couple things, I'm not sure if you could hear it in the video. I was trying to play the dynamics. The first time I played really softly because the first time is piano. The second time I played it at mezzo piano. In that fourth measure there's a crescendo. I tried to grow the sound there. Plus, look at the second ending. The RIT, ritardando, I tried to slow that down a little bit. So that's what your song's going to sound like. Now we're going to learn a new strategy. I love it when we learn a new strategy in music. And this strategy is called Subdivide the eighth notes. So we know about subdividing. When we do our song, we're always thinking about the eighth notes. Instead of thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, we're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But this week, instead of just thinking it, we're going to be playing each note as a whole bunch of eighth notes, regardless of the note value. So we know an eighth note. When we see an eighth note, we're going to play 1 eighth note. That's pretty easy. But what if we see a quarter note? How many eighth notes is that worth? It's worth 2 eighth notes, 1 and. So when we see that quarter note, we're going to play 2 eighth notes. Here's a trickier one. What about a dotted quarter note? Well, that's more than a quarter note, and it's less than a half note. It's worth 3 eighth notes. Next, what about a half note? We know that that is twice as much as a quarter note. What is that?
My little pony, what is friendship all about? My little pony, friendship is magic.
What in the world was that? Anyway, half note. A half note has the same value as 4 eighth notes. It could look like this with 4 separate eighth notes, or they could be beamed together. It's counted 1 and 2 and. Finally, what if we see a whole note? Well, a whole note is twice as long as a half note, and that is worth 8 eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's go back to our song All Through the Night. I'm going to play it again, but instead of playing the note's full value, I'm going to break each note up into its number of eighth notes. So that first measure will sound like this. One more time, listen. So what I've done is I've written out the song here in eighth notes. See if you can follow along with what I'm doing here. 1 and 2 and here I go. Were you able to follow along with that? We talked a little bit about this strategy at our Zoom meeting, so hopefully this made a little bit of sense. Subdividing each note into eighth notes. It's going to really help your rhythm. Well, there you have it. Now you know the assignment. Now you have to do the work at home. You are going to learn the song on your instrument, being very careful to use that subdivision strategy that we talked about. Once you feel comfortable with the song, I want you to play it for me. As always, you can send me a video or you can leave me a voicemail. I can't wait to hear from you this week. And until next time, happy practicing!